I wanted to show you a couple of other scenarios here. Let me go ahead and turn on a wireframe so you can see our language is starting to build. If we were to go down to, like, let's say more advanced shapes down below, how would you handle the edge flow for a rounded square or a rounded star or even a jigsaw pattern? And this is where you start kind of saying, well, how do you go from something like these basic shapes to something more like this? Well, a lot of it is still the same idea, guys. And if we start combining how we made characters like the letter C, the S, how we kind of built our language with these little smaller bits, we can get to a lot of these shape elements pretty quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and show you, let's see, some of the patterns that are showing up in a recurring way. So if we had to make these shapes based on the language that was happening up here, well, let's take a look. And let's see if we can find our corners. Well, take a look here. Here's our rounded corner. And we're working with the idea here. We probably started with a 16-sided cylinder, but we're using 1/4 of this. Well, there goes that shape. There goes rounded corner, rounded corner. Well, there goes a little bit of your alphabet up here. So that helped us build this shape. Now this one was a little bit more of a free-form exercise. This one might be where we might start with a combination of segments where we would maybe start out with our quad draw tool, where we would kind of say, where's the curves? Let's go to the quad draw tool and then hold down caps lock and tab, and then maybe make my square just a little bit bigger, but not that much bigger. And then maybe starting from here, I'd try to do the best I could to kind of maybe trace that edge. So now I'm just going to work my way around. So all I'm doing here is just drawing the curvature. And this trail of edges, this outside racetrack that I'm drawing, is really, really important to me as a modeler. And again, Maya's telling us how it likes its quads. So I might go and do something a little bit different there. Maybe I'll continue up. You're saying, well, why am I leaving that gap? I'll show you. So maybe I move these a little bit easier. And I turned on soft select so that I could get a little bit of that benefit. And then I'm still in the tool. Now I can go over here, hold down shift, and connect these. And then it'd just be a matter of just getting this shape more aligned. And you can spend a little bit more time, obviously, doing that, but for the most part, did a pretty good job of following 90% of the shape along the parts of the curve, and that would have taken a lot longer done other ways. And then once you've got that outside shape figured out, soft select seems to do a better job of just moving groups of verts better over. So that might be the way to go. It's this way you're not like vert picking constantly, and then just for your other shapes. So you say, well, now that I've got that, well, what do I do now? Well, there's a couple of things. You probably start wanting to fill in that shape a little bit. You could fill the hole and then connect up with the multi-cut tool. But what I like with the new tool sets is letting Quadra help me fill in the middle, because the most important shape that was important for me to keep was this outside trail, because I'm trying to plan it as a way of kind of keeping my holding edges going. After that, how I connect up on the inside, well, that's going to be a little bit up to me to be a little bit more creative. And just so you know, eventually it might end up looking like this. All right. The act of filling that in might take a little bit of time, but maybe with quad draw I can kind of start anticipating where I think I'm going to need some quad shape. So you might have to play with how you wind up filling these shapes, and it might take a little bit of imagination to kind of get Maya to help you. So I'm just using the occasional green dot to work my way, get these guys to talk, and then maybe fill in the rest. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So then that gets me a quad shape there, quad shape there. I'm going to need one there, and work my way to the middle. And again, this one is a little bit more, I'm trying to keep the edge flow a little bit more even. Maybe I'll divide here or maybe I'll divide twice, depending on how you want to make those connections. So eventually you would fill in to get to something like this. I'm going a little bit more high resolution. If you're trying to kind of keep it simpler, maybe use fewer points going around, so maybe it looks a little bit more low res this way, but that's okay. Once you've got your key shape changes, eventually you can make it and look and turn it into a puzzle piece. And let me go ahead and extract these shapes so you can see it, and then I'll just make it a dimensional puzzle piece from there. And then from here you already have the ability to put holding edges, or if you want to use a bevel tool for your workflow. Some people like that. And again, I might need the hard corner there on the corner of that piece. Let's go and bevel edge. Nice looking puzzle piece. Alright, so see if you want to have a little bit of fun with EdgeFlow, where you get a chance to figure out how to come up with that pattern that loops around. And again, my strategy or angle of attack would be is on these shapes, find the outside borders first, try to find this kind of racetrack area here, try to get those edges, figure it out first, then connect in the middle. Alright, same thing with the star shape, get that outside trail of edges defined first, and then connect the dots on the inside to make a planar quadded shape.